What up? It's your boy T-Bear here to reaction to today's Wrestle Wednesday. So I'm about to check out this video from Beyond Kayfabe. This is, when did Attitude Era begin? That has always been a good question about that as well too. Like, when did the Attitude Era begin? A lot of folks think it will happen, whether it's at WrestleMania 13 when the double turn between Stone Cold and Bret Hart happened, when the foul mouth fighting Tough Son of the Gun became who was the bad guy became the good guy, while the good-hearted countryman who fought for respect thing became the bad guy as well too. They thought that might start it. There's others who thought that might start it when the moment before the WrestleMania 13, when Bret Hart was that same good-hearted guy who's at the time of face was snapping and tired of the conspiracy and all that as well too. When he showed his true colors in a way as well too. They thought it happened then. There's also, or could happen a little after that, when Vince McMahon made that little vent promo about no more of the saying your prayers environment and changing the logo from and the change of the logo as well too. But either way, we'll find out from Beyond Kayfabe when exactly the Attitude Era begins, or it could be like what I'm saying is a big debate on when the Attitude Era begins. But all I gotta say is the Attitude Era was one of the best eras in wrestling, other than the Ruthless Aggression era. Though the Attitude Era, being edgy is cool, and being edgy good as well too. A lot of like characters and gimmicks you would think would not be a good role model were the babyfaces. Like a Pit was a babyface, a Vampire Crew was a babyface. They were the good guys and anti-heroes. And you have a guy who was an Olympian who loved his country was the bad guy and villain. And guys who about the country, well then again, that's still going thing now. That's still a thing now that people about the foreign characters are heels now, but as well too. Who else was even in? You even had like I say, like I said, you have military characters as heel as well too. Either way, who was like military characters would be faces in wrestling. It was a heel in the Golden Era, like Sergeant Slaughter was a heel in the Attitude Era as well too, and many others. So without further ado, let's check out when did the Attitude Era begins. Let's get it.
We can't talk about the pivotal success of WWE without mentioning the contributions of the Attitude Era. The entire existence and foundation of WWE just wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Mr. McMahon, Steve Austin, The Rock, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, DX, and many more.
Tell me he will be fired! I'll tell you what! How do you...
The Attitude Era skyrocketed WWF's popularity to unimaginable heights and success.
Shane McMahon is on Nitro! What in the hell is he doing?
But when did the most successful phase of WWF begin? Well, it's impossible to pinpoint a specific moment and say that yes, we are now in a new era. And for WWF, it was like a slow evolution in 1997. Thanks to fierce competition from WCW in the height of Monday Night Wars, Vince McMahon knew he had to take the World Wrestling Federation in a new direction. He has to bring and build new stars. But just a year earlier, things were beginning to not look good for Vince McMahon. It all happened in December 1995, 4 months after the beginning of Monday Night Wars, when WWF Women's Champion Alundra Blaze showed up on an episode of Nitro and threw the Women's Championship in the trash. Well, the moment isn't that significant, but it would lead to Vince McMahon's paranoia, thus unfolding the events on 9th November 1997. In 1996, Vince McMahon had Steve Austin deliver his famous Austin 316
That's another one. That's another one that said the Attitude could have started there with the Austin 316 speech.
Would lead to his rise to the top of the World Wrestling Federation. And in the same year, The Rock would make his debut at Survivor Series.
What a way to make your debut with a big show in the Big Apple at the Survivor Series!
Vince McMahon was slowly starting to lay the foundations of the Attitude Era, and by 1997, the Attitude Era was finally looming on the horizon. In March 1997, WWF introduced Raw is War, and in the same month, Bret Hart and Steve Austin would tear each other apart in a submission match. Their match had every ounce of brutality and blood that indicated that WWF is ready to enter a new era.
So it could have been the WrestleMania 13 match.
1997 was also the year when Hell in a Cell was introduced for the first time, and on the same night, Kane would go on to debut to attack The Undertaker, and in the same month, we would see the birth of one of the greatest factions in WWE history, D-Generation X. All these moments had a huge role in shaping the foundation of the Attitude Era. Fast forward to a month later on 9 November 1997. That is when WWF would change forever. The aftermath of the Montreal Screwjob can be still echoed today.
Wow, you talk about controversy. This crowd is livid.
Vince McMahon did an interview with Jim Ross just a week later to Damage Control, but it just further escalated and his reputation would go down. And once Vince McMahon realized that he's probably the most hated man in WWF right now, he embraced all the heat and transitioned into the Mr. McMahon character. On December 15, 1997, Vince would formally introduce a new era in a tape message on Raw is War.
Is as the times have changed, so have we.
In the year 1998, WWF never turned back on their decision and ratings and pay-per-view numbers hit record high. There was a radical shift in programming content.
Always love this picture right here as well, too, man. This little shot here. Always love this shot, though. All the
see more edgier storylines, more adult content.
Even a 747 looks small when you're flying it into the Grand Canyon.
What in the world?
In the weeks leading up to 1998's WrestleMania 14, Vince would introduce Mike Tyson, and Stone Cold Steve Austin would go on to win the Royal Rumble. At WrestleMania 14, Austin would finally defeat Shawn Michaels to become the WWF champion for the first time, thus ushering a new era. It was one of the hottest angles in WWF's history. And on April 13, 1998, for the first time since June 10, 1996, 84 weeks in total in fact, WWF Raw would win over WCW's Monday Nitro in the ratings for the first time. And on the same night, we would see Mr. McMahon and Steve Austin go one-on-one for the very first time.
That's we proceed like, yo, McMahon is jacked.
14 days later,
yes,
would famously try to invade WCW's
That was so awesome, man.
We are just halfway through 1998 and we have already seen so many defining moments from the Attitude Era. Attitude Era just wouldn't be possible if Vince McMahon wasn't pushed beyond his limits and capabilities. And he knew that he had to take action and make a change before WCW could throw WWF out of business. I think the seeds of Attitude Era were planted ever since 1995 and not 1997 as WWE claims.
I'll take it from here now.
Yep.
Attitude Era was built on the success of Steve Austin and Mr. McMahon's intense rivalry, the ascension of The Rock, and performances by D-Generation X, Undertaker, Mick Foley, Kurt Angle, and many more. I have tried to pinpoint all possible defining moments from this era, and I'll let you decide which moment really kicked off the Attitude Era.
Here we go.
Let me know what you think about my analysis, and please take a moment to subscribe my channel. It really motivates me to keep going.
That was a good analysis. Hold up.
Thank you so much for sticking till the end, and I'll see you next time.
That was a good analysis, though. That could be the one that started when Alundra Blayze, aka Medusa, went to WCW and tossed the women's WWE Women's Championship down the trash. That could have been it. That could have been a good start right there. That could have been a little seed planter right there, because it was before NWO started and all as well too. And the fact is that thing is part of the NWO vignettes though as well too. When you do the NWO intros, that's one of the videos part of it. Because at the time I didn't know about I didn't watch WCW like that. I thought she was like the female member of NWO, but they put that in their intros and their video intros for the NWO. That right there. So that could be it right there. But other than that, but yes, like I said, Attitude Era, one of the best era era to other than the Ruthless Aggression era, because like I said, love if you say Ruthless Aggression era was good because the wrestling was better than the Attitude Era, but Attitude Era definitely defined wrestling now as well too. Kind of broke kayfabe now. Kind of wish it was like the same as well too, because also like I said, anytime they have like characters you would not think be the hero in the story, be the heroes and the protagonists in the wrestling as well too. And have it because this is, and around this time also they listen to the crowd. If the crowd was feeling you, you're gonna be a babyface. If the crowd wasn't feeling you, you'll be a heel. You know what I'm saying? Like, be honest, Roman Reigns will be a face right now in the Attitude Era right now. LA Knight would have been turned early Knight face then if in the Attitude Era the way he getting yelled as well too. Rhea Ripley would have to break away from Judgment Day or she had to be the killer of the only babyface of Judgment Day because they behind her as well too in a way as well too. And sadly, that shit that happened in Puerto Rico, well, not exactly. Out of country crowd wouldn't count as well too, because it's the same. Because in Canada, the Heart Foundation that's the only time the Heart Foundation got cheered. In America, they were still getting booed as hills. But other than that, but you get the point though. Like, they listen to the crowd, they'll make turns based on crowd reaction. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's your boy T-Bear signing off. One love.